Hi and welcome to the Heat Pump Hustle, the renewable pioneer's perspectives. I'm Dan Andrews, the Heat Pump Business Builder, and I'm joined by Gav Wellsman, Sales Director at Giacomini, a global powerhouse in hydronics. After more than 20 years in renewables, we've witnessed the evolution of the industry firsthand, so you can look forward to candid advice, a touch of humour and viewpoints you simply won't get elsewhere. Let's get hustling. We are recording.
Live.
So, here we are.
Cheers.
Cheers. We decided to do this. There you go. Cheers. We decided to do this, and we'll explain what this is in a moment, on the hottest day of the year. Hence, we have the liquid refreshment going on with.
I think the radiator might even be on in here. They've used the excuse of acoustics and that they record sound in this room. I can hear everything perfectly. An air conditioner wouldn't necessarily have ruined that for us, to be fair. But there you go.
So, who are we and what are we doing? Well, Gav.
Yeah, today I head up the sales for Giacomini in the UK and Ireland. Giacomini are basically a brass and bronze manufacturer. We specialise in the HVAC industry particularly. We manufacture on the shores of Lake Ortra over in Italy. And essentially everything we do opens or closes. It's anything from a radiator valve to an underfloor heating system to a heat pump compatible products, antifreeze valves, and various different bits and pieces.
I think a really good question to answer right now is what are we doing here? Well, and why are we doing what we're doing? So what you've got here is head of sales director for Giacomini UK, and you've got myself as known as the heat pump business builder, as a consultant and coach to the heat pump industry. But also, Gav and I have known each other for over 20 years and are mates through the industry and have taken actually we've took the same path at one stage.
I was the difficult second album.
Yeah, right. So many moons ago, I headed up a company called Sonnenkraft UK, which was a wholesale business for solar. And I then moved on to another wholesale business. But yeah, Gav, you took the reins from there.
Yeah, I made it what it became. Dan, if I'm honest.
Well, that's it. I built the ship. You just steered it afterwards. But obviously our paths have gone in all kinds of different directions since then. The reason why we're sat here doing this series of podcasts, if indeed that's what this is that we've learned a huge amount over the 20 years, specifically in renewables. I mean, we mentioned there that a pair of us started off over 20 years ago in thermal solar, which obviously seems like a lifetime ago.
Well, it was also a bit of a baptism of fire at that time. People were going, solar what? Solar in the UK? What do you mean solar in the UK? And then by the
bit
time,
like that with heat pumps now.
Well, but by the time we'd exited, certainly by the time I'd gone, we'd delivered solar thermal systems on MOD projects, on car factories. People really saw the value, and to be honest with you, back then I always looked at it as it was one of the technologies that were available. And it still is. There is no silver bullet to everything. You can't pick one niche thing and deploy it in absolutely every scenario. You still can't do that today with anything. People talk about hydrogen, heat pumps, electric boilers, PV, solar thermal. You name it. It's not all deployable. One technology doesn't fit all.
Yeah.
And I think that was the start. We learned a lot from the start of that journey through that solar thermal business, certainly in the commercial world.
Yeah. I think, again, the messaging here really is that through those years, so that was 20 odd years ago, and we've gone on to bigger and better things in all kinds of different ways. But the point being is that we've got collectively massive amount of experience in small to large businesses in developing those. And we've learned a lot over the years, and it's really why we put this podcast together is to share our learnings, share our feelings about how, not for each other, but share our feelings about how the industry is going to develop. Because there's a lot of problems with the heat pump industry that respectively we can solve from different angles, and not just us. Obviously, we're contributing factors, and I guess that's kind of the point, is that this is a collaborative approach between two completely separate companies, opposite ends of the market, arguably doing very different things, but understanding that everyone's got to pull together.
I suppose we're not here to preach. It's more about open, honest discussion around the things that we've learnt, the things that we know, like you said, Dan, and how we feel about things, but also for other people to engage with it. We're not sat in a room on the hottest day of the year, supping on Stellas, talking about history and, exposing it warts and all, for it just to get two people go, yeah, I really like that,
So yeah, over the years, the point being is that we've worked with and helped many businesses in all kinds of different ways, shapes and forms. And if we can help a few more through this self-indulgent podcast, then maybe that's all good. I would say this is the first one. I'm sure you can't tell that. It will be a train wreck, this first one, but it will inevitably get better. So yeah, we kind of set the scene in this first little segment here. That the idea is that two mates that have known each other for a long while, worked in the industry both together and in very separate parts, come together to share our thoughts about the heat pump industry in particular, what we feel about it, what we can do with it, what we can share, how we can help. Because the truth is, to get to 600,000 installs per year, which of course we all have heard that figure, we know that's the target, it's not just going to happen by itself. There's a huge amount that needs to happen. And say, from my perspective, I work with businesses to transform installers into business owners. And again, we'll be going through those types of things that I basically help business owners with because of what we've experienced and learnt over time.